Hi everyone, this is Cheryl and welcome to my sewing room. I'm going to demonstrate how to make this really easy table runner. It's one of those projects that could take you a Saturday afternoon to finish. I'm using some Easter fabric, but you can use any fabric that you want. So let's get started. If you need instructions on how to cut out your squares, then click on the link in the upper right-hand corner called Tips for Cutting Quilt Fabric. You will need the following supplies. For a 60-inch length table runner, you're going to need about 1 1/4 yard if you want all of your large squares the same color. Or if you want them each different, then you could buy fat quarters. So cut 5 12 1/2 inch squares. Then you'll also need 20 6 1/2 inch squares, and you'll need about 3/4 of a yard. Fabric for the back, you'll also need 3/4 of a yard, and your cotton batting, you can either buy it by the package or off of the large rolls, and just make sure that it's roughly 14 inches by 62 inches long. On all of your 6 1/2 inch squares, turn it over to the back side and take a ruler and place it on the corners, and you're going to draw a line going from corner to corner. And again, do that on all of your 6 1/2 inch squares. On your 12 1/2 inch squares, you want them front side up. Take 2 of your 6 1/2 inch squares, bring them front side down. Stitch very close to the line that you drew going from corner to corner, but don't stitch on the line. So on this square, you'll stitch on this side of the line, and on this square, you'll stitch on this side of the line. So again, stitch very close to the line, but not on top of it. After stitching, you're going to trim some of the fabric off at the corner. So place a 1/4 inch line on your stitch line and then trim this fabric off. And do the same thing over here. Put the 1/4 inch line on the stitch line and trim. Then at your ironing board, press these seams. Then unfold and press the seams again on top, and you're going to press the seams towards these outside triangle shapes. Repeat the process again. Take the other 2 squares, bringing them front side down and lining them up in the corners. Now this time, the corners here and here will overlap by a 1/4 inch, and they're supposed to. Again, stitch on this side of the line here and on this side of the line over here. Trim the corners off, place your 1/4 inch line on your stitch line and cut, and do it over here. Place that 1/4 inch line on there and cut. Then at your ironing board, press the seams on the back, unfold, and press on top. And again, press the seams going out and away from the center of the block. And this is what it looks like on the front side. And then here it is on the back. Now arrange them in an order that is appealing to you. Stitch them together. Take the first 2, and I recommend that you pin the edges together along here and stitch 1/4 inch. Then go to the next block, add it on, stitch a 1/4 inch, and continue on down until you have all 5 blocks stitched together. At your ironing board, press all of the seams on the back side. So first, press the seams flat. After you've pressed all of the seams flat on the back side, then turn the table runner over to the front and lift one end of the table runner up, and I'm pushing against that seam just a little bit so that it will all go in one direction, and then press. Go down the entire table runner and press all of those seams in one direction. We're now going to work on the fabric for the back. So leave your fabric folded, selvage edges together, and then fold it again in half. And up here at the fold line, put a pin to mark the center. Then unfold it, and you're going to cut it in half. So place your ruler on there. Of course, remove the pin so it's out of your way. And then go ahead and cut it in half. Stack the two pieces on top of each other with the selvage edges together. And we're going to cut that off. So line your ruler up straight across and trim these edges off. Then take the two ends here in the center here and stitch them 1/2 inch seam all the way across. Now layer all of the fabrics. Place your cotton batting down. Then take the fabric for the very back of the table runner, lay it on top of the cotton batting with the front side or right side of the fabric facing up, the pretty side. Take your table runner piece that you just put together, bring the front side of it against that fabric for the back. Make sure you have a little bit of fabric for the back and the cotton batting extending out past all 4 edges. Now trim everything to be an exact fit of your table runner. So place the ruler's edge against the edge of your table runner and take your time lining it up, and then once you've got it lined up, then trim this off. Go around all 4 edges and trim it. Place pins on the edges on all 4 sides. On one side, leave an opening that's fairly large because you're going to use this opening later to turn it front side out. Do a 1/4 inch seam from the raw edge in. Start here and make sure you backstitch and begin stitching down to the corner. Go all the way around all 4 sides. When you come back here, backstitch. At each corner, trim some of the fabric off. So you're going to trim it down to where there's about 1/8 inch of fabric. You don't want to cut too close to your stitches. And because this has got cotton batting in there, it's really thick, I'm going to go around the corner just a little bit and trim some of it off there also. So again, do this at all 4 corners. Reach inside the opening and go down towards the bottom and begin pulling it front side out. Go to the other end, reach for it, and pull it out. Reach back inside, go down to your corners, and push it out. Poke those corners out. Here is where the opening is. Fold those edges inside and pin to where it's even all the way down. Then stitch close to the edge over the opening and all the way around all 4 sides. The last step is to do some type of quilting stitches on the top. Whenever you use cotton batting inside of a pot holder, placemat, table runner, or a quilt, you really need to do quilting stitches. And what that does is you're stitching through all 3 layers to hold everything together in place. To prepare to do the quilting stitches, you would need to place either safety pins or straight pins scattered all over the top. Then decide what kind of pattern you want to do. So the easiest stitch pattern I can think of would be to do stitch in the ditch. And the ditch is where the 2 pieces of fabrics come together and you're stitching right in that seam. So if you wanted to do stitch in the ditch, this is how I suggest you go about it on this particular pattern. Is start down here in the end at the point of the center square, stitch down to this corner. Always leave your needle down through the fabric whenever you're in a corner before you turn. So do that and lift up that presser foot, stitch all the way down to this corner, then stitch all the way down to this corner, and you keep going all the way down until you get down to your last corner. Then you would stitch down to this corner, come up, and keep going back and forth until you get all the way to the end. If you would like to do some more advanced decorative stitching, you could do just straight lines of stitching 2 to 3 inches apart all the way along the full table runner. If you have some decorative quilting stitches, this is the serpentine stitch. I use this one a lot, and I think on most of your sewing machines that are computerized probably have something like this. One more thing I would like to suggest is that you use a walking presser foot. And what this does is it helps to prevent the fabric layers shifting apart while you are stitching. It also helps to prevent little pin tucks in the fabric. For more table runner projects, play this video until a green screen appears and then click on the links. If you like this video, would you please click on that old thumbs up button, and don't forget to click on share to share this video with your friends. And if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you click on that red subscribe button down there in that lower right hand corner of your screen. Make sure you click on that little bell and enter your email address so you'll receive email notifications about my latest video. If for some reason you're not receiving those email notifications, go to your cell phone or iPad, click on settings, and turn notifications in the on position. I'm Cheryl, this is Manny. So glad you came to my sewing room. See you next time, and happy sewing!